Check this out. I have this very silly Python script. Apparently, it doesn't do anything. When I run it, it just shows a little animation and stops after a keyboard interrupt. But if you notice, I have 2 lines of code commented out here, and this browser stealer module looks a bit suspicious. Now, if I remove these hashtag symbols from those 2 lines and execute the script one more time, before running it, you can see that I have 2 different browsers open. As soon as I execute the script, the animation starts again, but this time, those browser windows are automatically closed. If I stop the script and check my Discord channel, you can see that we've received a JSON file. If I download this JSON file and open it in my text editor, you can clearly see that it contains passwords stored in my browser, my cookies, autofill data, and my browsing history, all in a single JSON file. This happened just by running that simple Python script, which was actually a browser information stealer. We'll talk more about it in this video, but before that, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. All of this information you saw on your screen, including passwords, autofill data, cookies, and other details, was extracted from my browser's local storage. The browser collected this data over time and stored it in its internal databases. The script I showed you a moment ago was an example of an info stealer malware, specifically designed to target browsers. As the name suggests, these types of malware steal users' information and send it to servers controlled by an attacker, which in this case was a Discord server. Before we move on to how this information is actually extracted from the browser, let's first understand how Chromium-based browsers work. Chromium-based browsers, including Chrome, Edge, Brave, Opera, and others, may look different, but internally, they all work in almost the same way. They store a significant amount of user data locally on your computer to provide fast and convenient features such as auto login, saved passwords, quick page loading, and more. They use a combination of SQLite databases, JSON files, and leveled DB to store this data, and all of these files are located inside a user-specific profile folder. For example, I have the Brave browser installed here, and these are some of the files and folders available in its user data directory. We have a default profile, but multiple profiles can be created. Inside these profiles, there are many files, such as the history file, which is currently encrypted. Similarly, every other Chromium-based browser has comparable local files, and they can all be found in predictable locations. As I mentioned earlier, we can see all of these files, but we can't directly read their contents because most of the data is encrypted, primarily using the Windows Data Protection API. At least for Chromium-based browsers, they rely on the Windows Data Protection API to generate a master key, which is stored inside the local state file. Sensitive values in the databases are encrypted using this AES key, and the key itself is also available on the same machine. The script we're going to take a deeper look at shortly retrieves plaintext, decrypted values from the browser's stored data by imitating exactly what the browser itself does when it needs to access that data. It doesn't break strong per-item encryption using brute force or any secret backdoor. Instead, it exploits the fact that the decryption key is available on the same system. The workflow is simple. First, we locate the master key, then we decrypt the master key. Once we have the decrypted master key, we use it to decrypt each individual value. This key is required only for certain sensitive items such as passwords, cookies, and credit card numbers. Less sensitive information, like browsing history, bookmarks, and most autofill data, is already stored in plain text, so no decryption is required. We simply need to query the SQLite databases to retrieve that information. Okay, enough yapping. Now, let's take a look at the script and see how it actually works. At the very top, we're importing several modules. Each one of them helps us perform a specific task in the script. One of the most important ones here is the module that calls the Windows Data Protection API to decrypt the master key. If you remember, when we ran the script at the start of the video, I had 2 browser windows open and they were closed automatically. That happens because of this function. We have to kill all browser processes in order to retrieve information from them. I've also specified a list of different browsers here. These are some of the most commonly used Chromium-based browsers. After that, we use this function to retrieve the master key. Unfortunately, I can't show the code for this function here. Next, we have a function for decrypting the values we get from our SQLite queries. This function simply extracts and decrypts information from the SQLite databases, so there's nothing too interesting going on there. Lastly, we have this function that ties everything together and retrieves information from the browser using all the functions above. We call this function from our main function, and it prints out the amount of data we were able to extract from the browser. Finally, this Discord function sends the entire file to a Discord webhook, which is acting as the server in this case. This was just a worst-case example of an info stealer. The purpose of this video is not to encourage malicious behavior, but to educate people about these kinds of cyber attacks. If you don't want your browser information stolen by hackers, make sure you read every script before blindly executing it. At least take a quick look at what it's doing. Also, avoid running cracked games or software, because they often contain this kind of malicious code. That's all for this video. If you found it useful, make sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button for more content like this.